To break.
So Judd Trump and Mark Williams for a place in the quarterfinals of the Shanghai Masters. All left-handed affair. Be interesting to see how Trump goes on. Obviously, first match in a couple of months for him since the World Championship. I'm sure he's nicely refreshed, but also looking forward to what will be, for him, a very busy season. He'll be in all the big events, of course. Starts the campaign number 2 in the world. Last season he won 5 ranking events, including 3 on the spin. Amazing thing about that, Stephen Hallworth with me. The amazing thing about that, Stephen, he didn't win Player of the Year. That shows you what a good season Ronnie O'Sullivan had.
Yeah, it was incredible, wasn't it? You just look at Judd Trump's campaign last year. It was outstanding. You know, he looked unbeatable at times. 5 tournaments, as you say. But Mark Williams went on to lift a couple himself. So we're in for a bit of a treat here. 2 heavy hitters of the game, 2 of the greatest left-handers of all time that we've ever seen. So you can expect fireworks in this one.
Okay.
Yeah, it was an interesting match, that one at the Tour Championship, because Trump had played in the mixed doubles, which ended on the Sunday. He didn't play Williams till the Thursday. He chose to stay in Manchester. It just seemed a bit flat. That's not taking anything away from Mark's performance, but Trump was poor that day. But the overall head-to-head does favour Trump, 11 wins to 6, including the Masters final 2023.
Yeah, I think the scoreline in that Tour Championship sort of reflected Judd as a whole, didn't it? You know, 10-4 to Mark. It's not very often, you know, that was a bit of a battering, really, wasn't it, for Judd? It's not very often you see him lose by such a margin. But the interesting thing about their head-to-head as well is that they've only ever played twice in China, and both of their meetings were in this event, the Shanghai Masters, and both of them were won by Judd Trump. So fond memories of this event in beating his opponent today. I wonder if that could play a part.
What?
You look at the intros as well this evening. This arena is incredible, isn't it? A packed house again, and just the atmosphere and everything around it. You know, the music, the adrenaline, it's all pumping. This Judd Trump's first event of the new campaign, and what a way to kickstart the season in a place like this. This is a big event. The best players in the world, this is what they all want to win. These sort of tournaments that involve the best players. This is a big occasion.
It really is. It's a great venue. It's a great tournament. Big money. All the big names in the game. So it's going to inspire the best. We saw the, before we came on air, we saw the MC warming the crowd up. I promise you, she made Rob Walker look like a shrinking violet. Honestly, it was extraordinary, wasn't it? The atmosphere she was generating.
Yeah, it looked like a nightclub at one point. The strobe lights were going and everything. You don't, not something you want to see as a player just before you're about to break off. But no, it's incredible, you know, how they sort of drum up the excitement around these big tournaments, and you know, and rightly so, because these guys are superstars. Let's have it right. You know, they're some of the best players we've ever seen, and they deserve, you know, being announced like that into these big arenas. That's what it's all about. This is what the game has become now. It's growing globally. It's a great time to be a professional snooker player. So Judd just eyeing up this little plant at the back of the pack here. He's landed low on it as well, so he's pretty much going to be bringing all the reds into play with this one shot. It's all about the cue ball. Can he get nicely on his next colour? He's got the plan, but he's lost the cue ball a fraction. He can see the black, but he's going to be hampered by the red.
Well, it's a big early shot, that, and he hasn't got it. Yeah, Trump, of course, just getting back into the swing of things. to the competitive arena. Of course, Williams has had a match already. He's lost the cue ball here, though, in a big way.
Wow, dear me, that is either a big misjudgment from Mark or a big bounce off the side cushion. He's overdone that by some way. And he's actually put himself in quite a lot of trouble because that red in baulk is doing him no favours there. So what a let-off that is for Judd Trump.
Malcolm's what?
Amongst those 5 ranking titles last season for Trump, 2 were in China, the Wuhan Open, new event, and the World Open in Yushan. Of course, the significance of Wuhan was the tournament started the day after he won the English Open. So he flew out, he had to play 2 matches in a day to catch up. Still came away with the trophy. And then a fortnight later won in Belfast.
Yeah, and you look at Judd's consistency throughout the whole of the last campaign. It wasn't just the 5 tournament wins he had. He was runner-up 3 times, semi-finalist 3 times, made 5 quarter-finals as well. That's just, you know, ridiculous consistency, isn't it? He's getting to the latter stages of pretty much every event he plays in. And, you know, that takes its toll over the course of a season. And I just wonder if that, you know, played a part in his disappointing run at the Crucible, you know, by his standards. Losing to Jack Jones in the end, no disrespect to Jack, of course. He played fantastic and showed us what a great match player he can be. But after the season that Judd had, he probably would have expected a deeper run in the Worlds.
9. 10. 17.
Right, surely not knock them into a plant here. If not, then there is one to the middle.
Well, he's asking for the extended rest, so that suggests that he has knocked them into a plant. He's been quite fortunate. Played to come across the face of those reds, although, as you say, he does have a red to middle, so this must be pretty much guaranteed, otherwise he wouldn't be entertaining it. Well, he's got the plan, but he's lost the cue ball fraction. Wanted to be much straighter on this black. He's landed a little close to the side cushion. And in doing so, he can't really do too much with the cue ball. Can only really get to the top of it, so he's just got to float this in. Played a little holding cannon off the red in the middle of the table. That was a nice shot.
Yes, and whatever caused Mark Williams to go wrong when he potted that red, losing the white immediately, it's been quite significant in this frame. Trump had missed that tricky blue when he'd been in first. Looks, though, like he's going to take the opener nonetheless.
Yeah, and we often talk about how important these early exchanges are, and they really are, because, you know, we saw in that game earlier on between Ronnie O'Sullivan and Zhou Jinhao, the Chinaman had a chance, only 16 years of age, had a chance to go 2-1 up, didn't he? And, you know, made an error on the yellow and pretty much sat in his chair for the rest of the match. Lost 6-1 in the end, so it's very important to capitalise on your chances early on in a match, try and get a foothold in the game.
Yeah, just think the small mistakes that Williams made yesterday that he wasn't punished for, he's more likely to be today. So from his
37.
perspective, that's what he'll be looking to cut out, because he's well aware, of course, that Trump
38.
is more than capable of pouncing on them. Snooker needed already here. Judd Trump, 3 times runner-up in the Shanghai Masters when it was a ranking event. He led 7-2 against John Higgins in 2012, but lost 10-9. Then he trailed 7-2 to Karen Wilson in 2015, lost 10-9. And 2017, Ronnie O'Sullivan beat him 10-3 in what was actually a masterclass of tactical snooker. Just completely froze him out.
$46.
Yeah, and both in a similar kind of boat, aren't they? Neither of these players have lifted this title, invitational or ranking, so both players will be eager to get this win and try and continue a run here, try and get the name on that trophy. Box to tick for one of them.
Yeah, I think this tournament, it is like the Masters in as much as it's a bit of a statement tournament, isn't it? Because it's all top players. You can't have an easy draw or anything like that. You're going to be playing big hitters. So if you win it, it's a sign to everyone else of how well you're feeling, how well you're playing. Of course,
54.
O'Sullivan has completely dominated it the last few years. Well, it's early season. We can forgive him for not getting on the red there.
59.
Yeah, that's careless, that, isn't it? Fully expected him to flick the red out there. Oh, he's got it anyway.
It started already. The naughty snooker.
And this is what this crowd love to see, isn't it? That's why he packs out arenas, Judd Trump. These exhibition-style shots. It's what we all love.
$63. $65.
And this will make him feel good as well, Judd. He'll sort of get the crowd on his side as early as possible. Just
68.
loosening up a fraction here. Been a pretty good opening frame for him. He'll be quite happy with how it's gone.
72.
Just able to smash a few balls around the table as well.
Yeah, the first of many frames, of course, he's going to win this season, and indeed he hopes this week in Shanghai. Judd Trump leads Mark Williams 1-0. It is 1-0 to Judd Trump,
Second
and
frame.
Mark Williams
Mountain
getting
break.
frame 2 underway. Just had that half chance really in the first frame, but it went wrong immediately.
Yeah, and of course, just looking back to that game Mark had yesterday, he did make a lot of errors in that match, didn't he? He wasn't punished. And you already made the point, Dave, that in a game like this against one of the game's greats, he will be punished. And, you know, obviously it's different because they're top players. They're able to just switch it on and off at, you know, the flick of a button. But it can be quite difficult as a player to know, you know, if you've come through a game that you've just battled through, you maybe don't feel like your form is quite there. It can be difficult at times to just turn it on, especially when you're playing someone like Judd, who's probably not going to gift you chances left, right and centre. So it'll be interesting to see how Mark can respond.
Yeah, I think as well, Trump is wary of him because, you know, there are a few better shot makers than Judd Trump, but Mark Williams is in that category. He's an incredible shot maker, actually, and Trump's well aware of that.
So could see a little bit of a stalemate here. The two reds up in balk doing neither players any favours here. Obviously neither can really play up into the balk area, so it's just going to be tapping into the reds for the time being.
Foul, and that means you gotta come 4.
Yeah, Lee Walker, who's Mark Williams' good friend and coach, he told me that Mark dislikes frames like this where reds start going into balk and suddenly the table is wide open. You're playing safety, but any minute it could switch and the other guy could get in and make a break. So you may not sort of start pushing reds down to bulk if he can help it.
Yeah, I'm with Mark on that one. I absolutely hate this type of frame as well. It's just very untidy, and I never seem to win them either, which I think is the reason why I don't like them. So we'll probably see Mark just carry on, just tapping up to the reds. Well, he's decided to try and jack the cue ball up, the cue up, and get the cue ball back to the top cushion, and it's gone wrong. He's left the red to right middle for Judd. That's a big mistake from Mark.
One.
Judd Trump, the leading century break maker last season, was 79. And he's only 20 off 1,000 for his career. Of course, John Higgins is 2 away, Ronnie O'Sullivan well clear. So Trump would be the 3rd man to do it, but he'd be by far the youngest.
Yeah, he's an incredible scorer, isn't he, Judd Trump? As you say, just 20 off the 1,000 century.
Nine.
That just seems incredible. And still so young as well, really. He's got the snooker world at his feet, I suppose. Already achieved so much in the game. But the mindset that this player has, just wants to continue winning.
14.
One of the problems he's got is that these legends just refuse to go away. I mean, I think if you go back a few years when Trump really broke through as a top player, if you'd fast forwarded to this point, 2024, you could reasonably have expected the O'Sullivans and Higginses and Williamses to have declined, but they're all still very much at the top. If we go back 2 years to the World Championship, the semi-finals, it was Trump and it was those 3. So he's having to battle them, he's having to battle the players of his own generation and the new players coming through.
Yeah, it's great though, isn't it? Because, you know, they're all kind of feeding off one another. Judd has sort of seen those guys growing up himself, you know, looking at that as the pinnacle.
21.
That's the level he needs to get to, and all of a sudden he sort of overtook them, and then those guys are like, right, we can't let these young guns overtake, and they're just sort of playing off one another and just continuously bringing one another on. It's incredible, and that's why the standard is just increasing all the time.
$25. 26. So 31.
So Trump looking to get back in amongst these reds and taking a bit of a detour down the bulk end.
Yeah, he just took the chance to tidy up the bulk area, didn't he? Remove those reds. And now straight away, getting into the pack from the green, he's pushed a red out. I think he can get through to it. He may just need to chuck a little bit of right-hand side just to slightly bend this cue ball around the red closest to it. Well, perhaps it's a bit more of a swerve than it first seemed.
Well, you're talking a centimetre really there to probably winning the frame. Or not from that visit.
Yeah, you talk about fractions in this game, and he was a fraction away from the perfect cannon there. He's just caught the pink. Yeah, if he catches the reds rather than the pink, they probably open a little bit wider than that. A bit more pace going through the reds. It wasn't to be, so doing the correct thing, playing safe. And now Mark has played a little dump shot here, and he's left the tempter to left middle for Judd Trump. And in it goes.
What?
So worrying signs so far from Mark Williams for me. He's played a couple of loose shots so far in this game, and as we've already referred to, he isn't going to get away with that type of mistake against someone like Judd Trump.
No, but what you absolutely can't afford to do with Trump is just leave him openers, which he's done twice now in this frame, to either middle pocket.
Six.
And you can see there just how quick this table is. It's
11.
hardly hit that. And the cue ball has just kept running and running. Nicely on this red there. You can see the two reds closest together. I think the bottom one of the two will pass to this left corner pocket. There's one right in the middle of that cluster as well, which will go. So they're kind of all just blocking one another for the time being. As he removes one, it will open the other. 55 points to the good now. He's a couple of reds away from securing this second frame. Been the perfect start for Judd Trump. And he knows the
17.
importance of getting on top of your opponent quickly. He knows just how dangerous Mark Williams can be. One of the best players we've ever seen to pick up a
18.
snooker cue. But as is this man, Judd Trump.
Well, this red should make it 2-0, and it's been pretty one-sided, this match
25.
so far. Williams knows he's just got to cut out these little errors, because they're looking like big errors
26.
right now. Trump, like everybody really, is a confidence player. If he gets his confidence up, he's pretty unstoppable. And he, like all the other players here, not really know what to expect first tournament of the season, but he looks fully settled. He's adapted pretty quickly to this table. He's playing some nice stuff already.
32. $37. 38.
In terms of ranking
45.
titles, 28 Trump, 26 Williams. Of course, this isn't a
46.
ranking tournament. Overall pro titles, Trump 39, Williams 35. Some big numbers. A lot of trophies there.
52. Foul. Judd Trump 52.
So Judd Trump on top early on. Remember, it's best of 11. There's a long way to go. It's 6 to reach the quarterfinals, but Trump looking good already.
Third frame. Judd Trump to break.
2-0 then to Judd Trump here in Shanghai. Best of 11 to play Si Jiawei in the quarterfinals. He was very impressive earlier, beating Luca Brissell 6-2. Of course, it was Si that beat Mark Williams in the World Championship 10-9, round 1. Now then, chance at a long red for the Welshman.
One.
Well, it was a much better pot from Mark Williams. At least he got the red, but he didn't have a favourable cannon. He's in no man's land, so the good long red is only going to come to 1 point.
Mark Williams 1.
He's not really followed it up with the best safety shot he's ever played. Not really much pressure on Judd Trump here for the return. In fact, his left hand on table for Judd, and he's eyeing up this long red. And he doesn't miss them.
One.
Well, how poor was the safety shot from Mark Williams to not get the cue ball near the baulk cushion there. That was a big, big mistake, because you leave hand on table for this man, and quite often you find the ball crashing into the back of the leather.
Six.
Now you can see the black does pass
7.
these two reds just above it. He'll look to try and remove them as quickly as possible. Possibly just play for the one directly above the black now, which then gives him access to the one to the right of it. So from nowhere, this is a pretty good chance early on in this third frame for Judd Trump.
14. 15.
It's key, isn't it? You look at the best break builders in the game, they're always analysing the table, looking for the problem balls as early as possible. Judd Trump there, completely aware the two reds around the black spot were problem balls. He's quickly removed them, and now he's just looking at the reds, just trying to plan a route of how he's going to attack that pack at some stage. There is 2 or 3 reds available for him at the moment, but he's going to go into them at some stage.
23. Sud.
Well, this seems a bit tighter than he certainly was hoping for.
Yeah, it was an anxious little look from Judd, wasn't it, as the cue ball came off the side cushion. Perhaps the cushion's just playing a little quicker than both player anticipates. He was okay. You could see enough of that red to just straighten it up with a trace of right-hand side. So there's a red still available, with one nearest to the pink spot that will pass into this right corner pocket. Judd can just drop across onto that now.
Sud 8. Sud 9.
Well, literally a Judd Trump fan there. It's worth saying, I'm sure a lot of this is true of any venue, a lot of the spectators will be watching snooker for the first time, so they'll have seen it on the TV. It's a very different experience, any sport, when you're up close. You can see the skill up close for yourself.
46.
Yeah, and anyone that's ever played this game knows just how tough it is. And as you say, when you're there in the arena watching these top-class sports people competing and playing to the highest level, it's quite mesmerising, isn't it? Seeing just how easy they make it look. It isn't easy, I can assure you.
$52.
So that really poor safety shot from Mark Williams has been very costly indeed. These players, they score so heavy when they get in so fast.
59.
And already Judd's arrived at red and black to leave Mark only able to tie.
60.
Needs one more red after this. Apologies, no, he needs one more red anyway. Mark has the single point, so he'll be going into the reds here, Judd. And it hasn't worked out, so just a glimmer of hope still for Mark Williams in this frame. 66 points behind 67 available.
67.
Anything but a full ball cannon to that red might have been okay.
Judd Trump, 67.
Well, before he beat Trump in the Tour Championship, Mark Williams beat Tom Ford, and he did so with a miraculous break in the decider from a very unlikely position. The balls were a lot tougher than they are right now in terms of where they were.
Yeah, and Judd will be fully aware of that. There isn't anything safe at the moment, so the safety shots Judd will be playing from here on out, his main ambition will be to try and get red balls safe. And they're just trying to push a red towards the side cushion. He needs some insurance because, as you say, if Mark is able to get in and give himself a chance, they're all there for him. So Judd got a possible shot to nothing here. Can play the cue ball back to Bork, attempt the red to left corner. Yeah, then it goes, very well played.
Yeah, you have to say he's good value for what will now be a 3-0 lead. Just getting enough scoring chances.
3.
Yeah, but I suppose if you're being ultra critical of Mark Williams so far, he has played a couple of loose shots. That safety shot a few moments ago in the previous frame as well.
4.
You know, Judd's not really having to work too hard at the minute. He's just doing what's there, taking the balls that are in front of him. Mark is going to have to turn it on and quickly if he's going to be competitive in this match, because
6.
Judd, the further ahead he goes, he's just growing in confidence.
Well, that
Judd
shouldn't
Trump,
make any
6, every
difference.
frame.
He's well over the line. Yeah, Williams struggling. He's going to have to tighten up in all areas. Trump just getting too many openings, and he's making the most of them. And he's already halfway to victory, lead. Well, we're just back underway here, frame 4, with Judd Trump leading Mark Williams 3-0. Trump snookered and he's going to hit the black.
5.
And he's left a red on, more
And here we go.
importantly.
7.
Yeah, this is a must-win frame for Mark Williams now, isn't it? He can't afford to go into the interval 4 frames adrift in a race to 6. And that was a big misjudgment from Judd Trump, because not only
It's
did
the
he lead
reigning
the red, he was able
Shanghai
to
Masters
leave a
champion.
pretty good early
Ronnie
chance
O'Sullivan
for Mark Williams, just able to nip
to
that
get us
red in. He was
underway
quite close
for
to
a
it.
place in the
Played it
quarterfinals.
nicely and perfect on the black. So this the kind of chance Mark was hoping for.
And it's
gotta
hello
make this
to Neil
count.
Foltz.
It's as simple as that.
Yes, hello, good morning.
Can't
If you're
afford to go
watching in the
4-0
UK
down.
or wherever in
Okay,
the world you are
of course
watching,
he's
it's going to
capable
be a
to come
very
back from that sort of
interesting
deficit,
game to
but
watch.
against a player like Judd Trump in
Shows you how
good form,
what
full
he
of
can do
confidence.
against
It's a
O'Sullivan. I must admit, he
pretty
came out,
daunting
he looked a
task.
little bit in awe of the whole thing, didn't he? Yes, he had that good win yesterday against Zhang Anda.
chose against playing
This
in
is
the
a different
Championship
ball game,
League,
as we
the
know.
first event of the new campaign. Did Judd
While he's
Trump?
very talented, you
And
just
so
feel
far
this
that seems to have been a good
assignment might be
decision. He was
something you
able
will learn
to
a
just
lot for
fully refresh
from.
after what was a very
whether
busy
he can beat the
campaign from
Rocket.
last
Well,
year.
it will take quite something
Williams
quite
took the
special
chance
for
to
him to
play
do
a
so, I would
Championship
say,
League.
but he was on the right end of a good win yesterday.
Yeah, he played some good stuff there. He got to the
Playing
last
this
group
man,
and he made 5
something he probably
centuries. I said
dreamed of.
yesterday, 5 centuries in
Very
only
fresh-faced
9 matches,
youngster.
very short matches.
Which is not something you can assume doesn't mean he's a fine
Obviously,
player.
it's a very different event. This, I mean, there was no crowd
But
in
we'll
Leicester.
see, we'll enjoy it.
This is
Both matches
bigger
terrific. I
occasion.
mean, the other match, Luca Bracella and CJ Wee also.
and you know you've got to
When you think of
perform
that
in the
World
Shanghai
Championship
Masters with the
semi-final
quality
they
of the
played, one
field.
of the most memorable
Stand
games
any
ever played at
chance.
the Crucible.
And it's their first meeting since then, so
24.
an extra edge to the match on table 2.
25.
Yeah, there's no hiding away, is there, at this event? Both tables, just 2 tables in action, both in this arena.
32.
You're under the lights. You know, you're fully exposed out there. There's a lot of pressure. But that's what these players
33.
live for, the pressure. They're able to deal with it in the big events on the biggest stage. Mark Williams has got to find something here, because he's not really played a part in this match so far.
Well, that was misjudged by
Well,
some margin.
so
Of course,
far,
his safety
he's
will come
found
under scrutiny.
5 reds, 5 blacks.
40.
Yeah, and a good chance to continue to stay on the
Gouging.
black as well. The cannon to the pack is
Now,
going to be key,
he's going to
because
find
it's
it
not
tough.
the most
Everything
inviting
about
pack to
this
get
suggests
into,
O'Sullivan is going
actually.
to win, but we haven't even started
they're not
yet. So
tightly
we'll,
bunched, which makes it a little bit
I guess
nicer
keep
to go into them from the black.
I'm watching brief on it. I
They are
mean,
quite
obviously
flat,
O'Sullivan
aren't
lost
they?
at the Crucible 1 year to an amateur status player
Interesting
in
to see Mark's
James
approach
Cahill.
to this
These things
shot,
happen.
if he'll leave himself high or
Well,
low on
Cahill
this
was
black.
very experienced. He's had wins before against top players. So, in some ways, should he get this win, it would be a bigger shock than any of that.
The victory over Zhang was
41.
a big enough shock as it is, given how well Zhang Anda played last season, won the international championship, made a maximum break in the final, beat Ronnie O'Sullivan on his way. Well, that's a mistake from O'Sullivan, so here's
Oh,
an
wow.
opportunity.
That is
Yes,
so
the black
good.
is out of commission.
What a
Takes
shot
it
Mark
very
Williams has
idle,
played
but
there. He didn't really have the best angle on
if
the
he
black
can
there. He had to force that
make his
cue
mark
ball,
early in this match,
try
that'll
and
settle any
create a
nerves he
little bit
has.
more angle than he possibly had, but he's played it perfectly. He's on a red at the back of the cluster now. Can he avoid the cannon to the black in potting it? It's made a little bit more awkward by the fact he's queuing down over a red. It limits what he can do with the cue ball, so he's looking at other options. Yeah, and he's played that very well. Now, what a chance this is, Dave.
49.
Absolutely. Well, we've only ever had 3 maximums in Shanghai. The most recent was back in 2016, Stephen Maguire.
It's entirely understandable if Joe gets caught up in the occasion today, playing
56.
by common consent the greatest player ever to
Well,
pick
it
up
looks
a
to have
cue.
gone
It's such a
wrong
big
pretty
deal
quickly
for him.
there. He's not low on this. He's not high, sorry, on this red. He's landed low.
That will probably
Can he
occupy his mind as
play a
much
little
as the
cannon
actual
to
match.
pink
He's
or
obviously
red
got to try and
to stay on the black.
overcome
The problem,
that.
isn't it, is that the
O'Sullivan
flame's
showing
over
no
yet.
mercy in the early
Still
stages.
live.
He's got him glued behind the blue.
Yeah, I mean, that shot was on of O'Sullivan's, but you've still got to execute it.
Yeah, he couldn't.
57.
He's got to take his medicine here now. He's got to play the
pink.
pink.
That he's the best scorer.
You could see he was trying, though. He had it on his
mind.
mind, didn't he?
But we also know that he might
the
just
black.
need to show all of his safety skills, of which he has many.
Yeah, he's having an argument with himself. He
Well,
knows
off
it's
the
not the
great
right
Ray
shot,
Reardon.
but it's what the crowd want, isn't it?
And, you know, let's be
Pink's
honest,
much easier.
he
Frame's
knows
not won yet. He's
at this
3-0
stage of
down
his
to
career,
Judd Trump.
O'Sullivan, that maybe you
He
have
must
to
feel the pink's the right
show
shot.
many more aspects to your game than potting and scoring,
But he's
especially
still
against someone
tempted.
who's,
He's still tempted.
well, completely inexperienced at this level. Let's be
Not
honest.
enough, though.
The showman
So
in
it's
Mark
through.
is trying to will him on to play the black, but the professional in him
Zhao's in
is
now,
telling
and
him
you don't
the pink's
see a
the
great
correct
deal in
shot.
the
As
way
you
of
say,
form,
3-0
apart from that
down. He
last win.
couldn't afford to take that black on. Had he missed it, he'd have left the frame
But
for
it will be
Judd.
difficult for the seeded players. I mean,
Good
obviously we
decision,
lost Jack
Mark.
Jones in the
Okay,
draw
we all
earlier.
wanted to see the maximum, but he's got to win this frame. It's as simple
Virtually
as
no
that.
form. Played in the Shanghai Masters, was whitewashed 4 years ago.
£10,000 for the highest break here in
opponent,
Shanghai. Still a
Jin
one
Chao.
possible 146
He
available.
got the job done against the World Championship
High break
finalist of.
stands with Barry
64.
Hawkins at 141, so chance to set a good
You know,
marker
it
here.
is a reminder that it's difficult for overseas players to come to the UK and play and win, and
Main
it's
thing is
difficult
it looks
for
like he has won the frame,
UK-based players
which
to
he needed,
play
and also
abroad.
to do it in one
This is
visit.
a nice
Just sends a little message to Trump. There's still a
72.
match on.
plant. You know, it's not easy, this game,
Yeah, and it's
especially when you're
important
out
for
of your
Mark to
comfort
just
zone.
concentrate and see out this frame now. Try and stay on black for as long as possible, because what that means is that someone has to basically make a
Of course, you
magical
might
maximum
be watching
to
somebody
nick
in
the
10 years'
10,000
time
off
will
him.
be a
So,
world champion himself. Who knows?
you know, it's a
Gotta
very
start somewhere.
good target to have, isn't it?
Those old pictures of Ronnie O'Sullivan as a kid being had a picture taken with Steve Davis. Steve would never have known what he was seeing. close hand
See how
that day in those
disappointed he is with
pictures.
that one. Had so
All
much
the
room to
youngsters
get
can
high
go
on
on
that
to
red.
become great players.
88.
Now the red on the right is in play here. If this safety shot is not struck perfectly, he can hit that red. Sullivan is a master, and he's avoided it. Don't know what sort of form he's in, of course, Sullivan. We haven't seen much of him. I know he's been playing.
Well, he's disappointed, obviously, not to go on and make the century and
Played Ding in
possibly
a
the
series
total
of matches
clearance.
after the championship
But
ended.
the important thing is he has won the frame. He needed that. Judd Trump and Mark Williams back underway, with Judd Trump leading 3-1. He led 3-0. Williams made 93. Could have made more, but the main thing is he won that frame in a single visit and is on the scoreboard, having just made a few
8,
too many errors in the first 3 frames.
9.
Well, that was misjudged by some margin. Of course, his safety will come under scrutiny. Zhao Jinhao. He's
16.
going to find it tough. Everything about this suggests O'Sullivan is going to win, but we haven't even started yet, so we'll, I guess, keep
17.
a watching brief on it. I mean, obviously O'Sullivan lost at the Crucible one year to an amateur status player in James
Again, I
Cahill.
think
These
the
things
nature
happen.
of this tournament means
Well,
that
Cahill
Trump,
was
you know,
very
at 3-0 he was
experienced.
looking good,
He
feeling
had
good,
wins
but
before
the
against top
fact he's playing
players. So
Williams,
now
he's not
just a
taking
question
anything
of
for
finishing
granted.
the job off in this
In some
frame. He
ways,
was
the credit
presented
could
his
he get
chance to
through.
win. It would be a bigger shot than any.
Felt
Felt like
He's
he
He's
wasn't
win
going to
3 more frames, and he's going to have to stop
waste the opportunity when it
his
came.
opponent from
Victory over
scoring.
Shanghai.
A bit more to do.
A big enough shock as it is, given how well Zhang Anda played last season, won the international championship, made a maximum break in the final, beat Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Straight away, Mark Williams
Way.
with a terrific red
It's a
there.
mistake from O'Sullivan.
Yeah, that was
here's
so
an
good because he had so
opportunity
much
to
left
back
hand
his
side on the cue
commission.
ball
Pink's
there.
not great
It's been
either,
so
but
unfortunate to find
31,
the ball
Judd Trump.
pocket.
if he can make
Look
his
at the
mark
left
early in
hand
this
side, he's
match,
had
that'll
to
settle
put on
any nerves
this
he has.
cue ball to come round the back of the black, makes the red very missable, and to find the corner bag is so unfortunate.
So this red for one each.
7. 38.
Yeah, I'm playing on the brown here. I know the frame is over just because it clears that pocket for the red. Just this side of the brown ball. So, a couple of fairly open frames, let's say. A chance to have come for either player.
Zhou Jinhao, 1.
Now, what's he going to use here? Some kind of extended spider, or can he reach it? Sullivan, you feel, is just easing his way into the event. But I guess for the sake
Mark
of
will have been very
this match,
disappointed
entirely
with how this
massive
match
favourite
started,
if
but at least
Joe
he went to
gets
the
the first two
interval
frames
with
been
some
shared. It kind of
positive
makes
the
thoughts.
occasion
it
today,
makes it
but
more
Contribution
interesting
made in
than
frame
the match.
by common
24.
consent, the greatest
You do
player
feel
ever to
like
pick up a
Sullivan is
cue. It's such a big deal
absolutely-
for him.
I mean, he must be a
And-
red hot favourite to win it.
That will
Based
probably
on
occupy his mind as much as the actual
everything
match.
we know,
He's
really.
obviously got to try
Clearly,
and overcome that, but O'Sullivan showing no mercy in the early stages. He's
now
got
he's
blue behind
he's a
blue.
talent. Yeah, I mean, that shot was on of O'Sullivan. Talent still won't be enough. Seems unlikely, but yeah, I mean, look, O'Sullivan at this stage
scored
is
one
we know
all.
that he's the best
Ding,
scorer break
Judd,
the game
meanwhile, has
we've
gone
ever
2-1
seen.
up against Ali Carter on
We
table 1.
also know that he
Enemies.
might just
On
need
his
to
second
show all of his
Shanghai
safety
Masters
skills, of which he has many.
2017, which was his
Well,
third
Judd was in
Well,
trouble
well,
there,
well,
wasn't he?
really.
He dropped tight underneath that ball cushion,
and then
and
the following
and
year it became
didn't really have many
Nicholas
options.
Nicholas
It walks back
knows
to balk,
at this
so
stage
had
of
to
his
play
career,
that red
O'Sullivan
thin. He was
last
going
year
to
when
be
he
too
returned
cushion
to the
route.
calendar
Showed
after a
many
4-year
aspects to
absence.
his
Unable
game
to avoid the
and
blue,
scoring,
so
especially
he
against
saw
some
a
of his
mark
The then
with a
reigning world
chance.
champion Luke
completely
Roussel.
inexperienced at this level, let's be honest.
Not an easy chance though.
So it's
Black
through.
is tied up well. He's overcut the red, and that's
Zhao
amazing.
Jinhao,
I
and you
can't
don't
believe
see
he's
a great
overcut
deal in
that.
the way of form apart from that last win. But it will be
60.
difficult for the seeded players. I mean, obviously we lost Jack Jones in the draw earlier. Somebody who's got virtually no form. Played in the Shanghai Masters, was whitewashed 4 years ago.
63.
His opponent,
One.
Jin Chao. And he got the job done against the World Championship finalist of
And this time a misjudgment
spring,
from
so,
Judd Trump.
You know, it is a
67.
reminder that it's difficult for
So a little bit of a cagey
overseas
start.
players to come to the
this
UK and
fifth
play
frame.
and win, and it's difficult for
Now,
the
what will
UK
Judd
based
decide to do
players
here? He's got
play
reds
abroad.
available,
Two,
That was a
correction.
nice
but the brown's
shot.
surely too thin.
nice plant.
Can't attempt the green.
78.
You know, it's not easy, this game, especially when you're out of your comfort zone.
Big target
Purple ball.
to get the cue ball in behind the green and brown.
Ronnie O'Sullivan clears the table.
85. Ronnie,
And of course, you might
The champ
be
won.
watching somebody in 10 years' time will be a
frame.
world champion
Ronnie
himself. Who
O'Sullivan
knows?
to break.
Got to start somewhere. Those old pictures of Ronnie O'Sullivan as a kid being
Ronnie O'Sullivan breaks off.
had a picture
Frame
taken
three.
with Steve Davis. Steve
Possible
would never
11.
have known what
First
he
to
was
6 to go through.
what he was seeing at close hand that day.
To
in those
play
pictures.
deep for Carter, who
All the
will
youngsters
mention
have
later.
gone on to become great players. Be interested to see if O'Sullivan can just tighten his game up here and sort of pick off chances from Joe, which is kind of how you see things going potentially. Now the red on the right is in play here. Ronnie
O'Sullivan's
O'Sullivan's
gonna
going
catch
to win
this
if he's
red
an
very
open
thin.
match as well.
If he
Sullivan
doesn't,
is a
the jaws
master.
of the corner back
And he's
will come into
played in the
play.
hands of the youngster by going down that route.
Well, he
I
has
don't know
called
what
it
sort of
thin,
form
but he
he's in,
pushed the
of
red
course.
towards the
O'Sullivan,
right
yeah.
corner.
That safety shot was
Seen much
sure
of it,
plays
but
out
I
here.
was
Playing
very
good to hit the ping,
surprised
had it for exhibitions
not
and
to
doing
see
a bit
Judd
of
Trump
this
go
level
for
at
it.
speed. Played Ding in a series of matches after the championship ended. But we'll get a handle on where his game is at. I know he's been practicing, but you wouldn't expect anything else of him.
Perilously close to dropping, which would have made
Well,
O'Sullivan's
the red
next
to
shot
right corner
a
is
deal
available,
easier.
but Judd tied up a plant just
As it
beneath
is
the
all
pink
but
spot.
queuing. Yes, he spent a day at the Wimbledon Tennis Championship Saturday weeks ago.
He's
O'Sullivan
making the final adjustments here.
But has he been unfortunate
Ball
again?
placement.
Won't pass the blue.
Novak Djokovic, the finalist.
Aim a bit
7
further
times
down the
champion.
cushion.
Or is there just enough room
Quite a
to
big
creep
target,
it in
quite
that middle
honestly.
pocket?
For O'Sullivan, that was all
Until it is
queuing.
time. It's one of those shots, that last one, where you're almost playing from corner to corner.
Oh,
so
well, there
you're
was, and that's a great shot
Right.
from Judd Trump.
If
Now
you want
he's
to tell me
away.
how far it would be from that left corner to the bottom right, it's more than 12 feet. Obviously, it's about 13 feet
Took the
away,
decision
so
there to play that plant because
the
felt that positional
definition
from
of a long pop there.
the red over the pocket
queuing
was
too.
not straightforward.
8.
He had one of the best seasons of his career, of course. Last season, O'Sullivan won 5 titles,
Played a
including
couple of
his
plants
8th
in this game,
UK
hasn't he?
and
Doesn't
8th
mind taking on the
Masters.
big shots. He's a proper shot maker, isn't he? Okay, those reds were pretty
Well, he likes
dead
to
set to
plant
that
anyway.
corner.
He's knocked in 2 already, and that one
Still,
is
there's always that little bit of doubt in your
potentially
mind. If you
one that
don't
could
catch
be
them right, it could turn it.
quite
Played it
valuable.
nicely.
It's gone in. It looks to be on a choice of colours here. The pink to middle, definitely. So this all of a sudden looks like a chance.
Yeah, this was the problem at the Crucible. It was the opposite.
If it's
Against
on the
Jack
pink
Jones,
to
he just
middle,
went
it
into
would
a
be nice to
shell
get it back
completely.
onto its own spot.
Then when chances
Well, he
came
tried to
along,
avoid the double kiss there with
couldn't
a bit of right-hand side of the
no
ball.
fluency,
But stop.
no rhythm. But of
The
course, the
double
World
kiss
Championship
happening.
is just a different event. You know, the multi-sessions, matches that can last 3 days.
If he can get an angle here
Everyone
on
has
his
struggled there
colour,
at some time.
Get
Last
the reds
season, all the
open.
players that struggled were the ones who'd done well all season, and the players that did well, the opposite side of the coin, had poor seasons and then some kind of redeemed themselves in Sheffield.
yeah, he's a little
We'll see
straight on
Carl
the blue,
Wilson
so that
tomorrow, of
option
course,
is
the
not open to him.
9.
In fact, I don't see how he can get on the red here. Whichever colour he takes.
17.
Yeah, Judd has just sort of wriggled his way into a good scoring chance here, hasn't he? Got the
He's
pink
knocked in
spot
2
open now.
plants
He's
already.
happy to
I'm not
leave
sure
that
if there's
black
anything
tied
else
up.
like that.
Pink
Six,
available
six.
into
Red
a
might just
couple of pockets.
creep in, but
Happy to just work in this area now. Probably the perfect ball
They're
really
very
to have
close to it.
available.
Well, he
You
looked
can
very
have
starting
access to
with
all
injuries.
players
Let's
on
see
the
if he
black.
can
He's
put
got
all
a
that
good
aside
shot.
that he
There's
played
plenty of
to
reds in
end
open
that.
play.
Quite a nice
Towards
start
the
he
outer
made.
frame. It's a big frame. It's one that
Shame
Mark
he's not
really needs to
better
win to
placed
keep
on
his
this
hopes
brown
alive.
ball.
He's just sort of
If you
clinging
knock it in
on to
and come
Judd at
around
the
the
minute, and
angle,
that's
he
all
could
he is
be on his
doing.
way to one thing he will
clinging
learn over
on.
the years, and of course every Snooker Coming player favourite, does, he he has has to to make make every every shot count at the highest level.
Yeah, well, he had
shot
the chance,
this.
didn't he? But I mean, he
Give
grossly
away a chance
undercut that
there.
red.
Nowhere
corner.
near it, unfortunately.
Just
That was a
much
moment
forced
there
error.
early in
The
this
start
match.
of something. Having made 93 in frame 4.
25.
1.
Extremely rare to see O'Sullivan go into the bunch of
8.
reds and not land nicely on one, but appears to be end of break.
31.
Yeah, I think as soon as he hit it, he almost heard him tap as if he knew it was going to be stuck in the bunch. It's
32.
not a very good shot from O'Sullivan. Great touch player that he is. He hasn't really landed on that red to right corner very well. Try and get that still have to play from the red somehow.
Just
feeling his way into this match,
for
no doubt.
O'Sullivan last time out would
Condition
be
of the match table will always be a
an
little
understatement. 1.2
more
million
reactive perhaps than
change
practice
won on the
table, any other table.
38.
Yeah, I mean, he won here, didn't he, to start with, and then all of the high prestige events leading up to the World Championships, he seemed to nab. He
Conditions were
to have won the
immaculate
UK
yesterday.
Championship and the Masters.
39.
Ronnie
Doesn't happen very
O'Sullivan,
often
And
for a player
centuries
leading
all
up to
three
the
in a row
Worlds.
from Joe Long, who eventually got the better of Barry Hawkins, who himself knocked in a 1-4-1. John Higgins made a couple of times
Brilliant
as well
shot.
to move to 9.98 for
O'Sullivan
his
also
career.
won the World Grand Prix, but rather a scruffy start to this match. There's much left in the tank.
So if he's straight or low on the red, just above the black,
Slightly
it
awkwardly.
may be wise to take that now.
Shots have been missed.
Single season.
Gives him another red to
O'Sullivan will
move
be
from the
eyeing up
table.
behind the yellow
And
here.
other ideas
Obviously, he's
from
got the
last
red
year
over the right
in
corner, but
Sheffield, but
he needs to
He's
just
a
be
bit too much
mindful of
of
his
it.
positional play.
It's very inviting
nicely
when
on the
the,
pink.
with the yellow, green and brown are placed and the blue in there.
46.
It's
Right.
a horrible
Pretty well.
snooker that you could get. He's quite impressive,
So
isn't he?
clinical,
He's
aren't they,
holding
when they
his
get
own
into
here
this
in
sort
the
of
early
position. He can smell
exchange
blood
of
as
this
well.
match.
And he
can
knows
see
how
that he
important
knows
this
how to play.
opportunity is.
Good
He
win.
needs to
He's
keep
not
Mark
straight
calm
on
and
this,
keep
of
him in his
course.
seat for as long as possible.
He had such a good season.
Doesn't want to give him
The
either a
last
glimmer of
campaign.
hope.
No, I think this is
He's work in
where the game
progress,
has
but
changed
what
over the years.
I see
Well,
so
the players
far
now are so
alike.
determined to kill frames off in one visit.
Fifty,
You know, you
30.
go back
8.
maybe 40 years, it was sort of make 40, player safety, make another 40. Obviously there were centuries as well, but the weight
40.
of scoring has certainly massively gone up over the years.
Well, to
Right.
judge the pace of this right
And
wing
it's key
table
to
is
the modern game.
racing.
You can't. It's impossible to get to the top of
He's
snooker these
almost on
days
the
if you
black
don't
to middle
score
rather
heavy.
than
It's
to the
as
right
simple
corner
as
as
that.
you
When you
meant.
get your chance, you've got to kill off the frames because it's what the best players in the world do. The scoring
19.
ability is just incredible.
Excellent.
Well, he played
Very
a shot
good.
to get on the black, so snooker's required.
20.
Yeah, I think this is in a way
crowd
Steve
enjoyed that
Hendry's
one.
legacy. He came into the game and
60.
Well, if he could
as a young
in
man,
the opening frame,
he
what
just
a
took everything on.
settler
It
that
was
would be.
a kind of different approach, really, to what had been seen before. But of course, all these
Seven.
guys grew
It's
up
another
watching
good
him.
pot. With each pot he
Wow.
makes, he's going to grow in
Closing
confidence.
house.
No,
Scored
I'm disappointed
something like
because he was
so
going
nicely
nicely
there.
From Judd
Give it a
because
clean.
he's had a few problems to
Yeah,
solve.
it was. I think he
Little
you
puzzle
could tell
that's
he's
sort of
just
proceeded wide to
working
get the
out
cue
around
ball up
his
the
round.
table.
He's dealt with it
Of course,
quite
he did
beautifully.
play yesterday, but to
He
play
doesn't get the
O'Sullivan
replay on the
constructed
screen. He
like
won't
this.
like what he sees.
68.
It's almost he didn't quite have the angle
Something
to
else.
stun off the cushion, so you
Trump
almost
gonna
automatically
make
hit a
his first
wider
century of the
angle, thinking
season
the
here.
pot would still go in. As a player, you know, you can see that he missed a black off the spot. He's
For a
got
while, it looked
something
like
comes
he might
down
get
to it.
to
Lots
100
of
last
scope
season.
for
He
improvement.
ducked
He's
out of
probably
a
going to
couple
grow a
of
little
tools late
taller. He's
on.
only
He
just
was playing
16.
so much snooker, so he ended on
Still
79,
growing.
which is still plenty. It's more than plenty, actually.
75.
25.
Yeah, the season where we could see
7.
Judd himself get to 1,000 centuries,
82.
along with inevitably
32.
John Higgins.
83.
33. 8.
He's just beautiful to watch, isn't he, when he's in full stroke. There's just something about a left-handed player for me. Both of these guys, when they're in full
Well,
flow,
that'll
just
do.
floating around the table,
It's a handy lead.
it's just
85.
effortless.
And if you can't put them all in one go,
13.
and you're playing the
And
greatest
again, I'll
player,
reiterate
has ever
what I
picked up a
mentioned
cue.
yesterday about the conditions here in
Stick him
Shanghai.
behind
They
the
look
brown like that.
fantastic.
90.
In years gone by, it can be quite
So-
heavy in China due to the moisture in
14.
the atmosphere. That all plays a part in
It's
how
a
the
little
table
tough for
plays. The
Rocket. He's
scoring
left
this
his
week
red
so far
possibly.
has reflected that. There's been a lot of one visits this game. Every frame, there's been a break over 50.
Shows in
The
how a
scoring's
real
been very
chance to
high.
take the opening frame here.
And I think when when the conditions are right, it encourages that because these guys are so good.
Well, they're just on this
I
red.
like the way he plays that. He committed
Question of getting
fully
onto his
to the
colour
shot.
from
So
here.
this pink then.
Didn't worry about
Still
missing the
in
cue
century,
ball
number one in the
round and up the
campaign,
table.
Judd Trump.
It's a nice shot, that. Play it gently. The edge of the reds
Big
could have been in the
frame
way.
to it. Mark Williams did have the chance. He overcut that
Speaking
red
of Mike to Philip, it does remind me a
initially,
little bit.
and Judd Trump has done the
Another
rest.
Chinese player who is who's got a lot of scope for improvement. He's
112
high.
from the world number 2.
Batsman
Judd
doesn't
Trump
want to go in behind the
extends
black.
his
That
lead
would be his
here,
biggest
and just
worry
2
here.
away from a place in
And
the
he's clearly
quarterfinals
talented,
of the
so I'm
Shanghai
enjoying
Masters.
watching
He
the early
leads
stages.
Worthington going to the interval, but there'll be a lot of support for Williams to make this closer.
36. Mark Williams to break.
Starts with this frame. He's 4-1 down.
25.
So, chance here to get from yellow to red. He could go into the bunch. Yeah. So he's okay. The loose one. The Reds are sort of protecting each other on that left side. So
Means he's well and truly in the frame still.
he has overhit though. Got over that little. Finished in the one place where
Yeah,
nothing
Reds
is available. A
it's
little
kind of the
run
opposite
behind.
of that
The
break he
frame's
was
terrific,
played
if you
a few
like.
years ago.
Sullivan there.
Might
Might
just
keep
roll
him.
it into the back
He's
of
on
the
this
red.
long range here. That's
Another
another
good
good
safety.
coming back to the bulk end from potting it.
But the key thing, of course, is not to leave a long one on.
Good pot. Keep the break going. Yeah, I mean, I find those shots always very difficult. His bridge hand was very close to that red on the left of the table. I so he had to cue down on the ball. I'm worried about whacking the
Yeah,
red
it
up
wasn't a
the
bad
table.
break off, really, was it? Because he's cut off pretty much all the reds bar one for Judd Trump.
And that's why he ended up out of position.
So he had to catch that very thin with a
Coming
lot of
up.
right-hand side, and he's done well there.
Brought that on. Oh, that's a fantastic
Right-hand
by
side to
any
try and
standards,
avoid the double
terrific.
kiss on the red.
Sullivan's
Which
only
means
real
in going back
disappointment
to
last
ball.
season
Opportunity
was his
is a
quarter-final
very
exit of
telling
the World
one if you can
Championship.
take it.
He was looking to make it,
You know, yes, there's an awkward red. The black's a
breaking
bit
8 Crucible titles to go with
close
his
to the
8
right cushion, but that
UKs
shouldn't
and
be a problem
Masters,
at this
but
stage.
was denied by an
something
outstanding
you'll need.
performance from Stuart Bingham in that match. 13-10 he lost.
But of course, if the black was on its spot, the bottom
Aside from
red
that, it was,
would be easier with the black to follow it. So
even by his standards, an
all those
outstanding
things
campaign.
thrown into the equation.
Not thrilled though with the way
Just a
that
couple
break
with the
came
rest
to an end
already.
No problems this time, and what a red it was to get in, and given the state of the table. Has a chance to run a bit further than he wanted to, though.
Yeah, I mean, again,
So there's a
Plus
little
a very
corridor
quick,
for
you know,
Judd to
looking
try
at
and
this
find
blue
here. He
goodness
plays
me,
off the
this is
side
gonna
of the
have to go in.
pack.
what a shot
to
to take on
avoid
here.
The three reds to the right of the table. Looks a natural
Oh
angle.
my goodness, what a shot.
It's all about pace, this shot.
I mean,
Needs a
can't
good cue
think of
ball.
Many tour players who would have taken that on.
Now is the yellow going to come to his
Trickling
rescue?
behind
Just
yellow,
to
but
push
he
the red over the
absolutely
left corner
thundered it
pocket.
home.
And you saw O'Sullivan's reaction.
From Mark's body language, you can see
Well,
this
he
red.
can pot a ball. The more I
Now
see
trying
it,
to get on
the
a
more
collar.
I realise his cue ball is loose, but he's
Cue ball looks to be
he's,
heading into the reds.
full of the exuberance of youth.
Yeah, it was. So
A
he's
difficult
not
shot this.
anything but the blue
Very
to corner
difficult to middle.
pocket.
Two outstanding
And it's a
pots.
big shot
Yeah,
because these
wouldn't
reds
that
are
have opened
spreading
the door?
nicely.
Had it got in,
One in
but
front.
the flip side is he's probably cost him the frame, because this is now a wonderful chance.
The shot he's
for
got to
example.
take
I think it was the
on as
right
well.
shot. He
Not
just
what he
had to
wanted
get
to
it,
finish,
basically.
One.
I don't
Probably
think
not
they
he's
would
in
have
all
unlocked the
day
frame
in
to play
practice.
safe, but because you're going to have
Of
to
course,
again
this
now.
isn't the practice table. But the best players in the world, they don't often miss them.
But that's a good safety shot. That's well
from
played.
Mark Williams.
17.
Shame the cue ball isn't further behind the pink, or the red didn't stop quicker than it did. He'd have had O'Sullivan on the ropes then.
8.
Well, he's gone a little too
9.
far for the red that he intended to, so he's going to have to take the outer one of these two. A more difficult pot, but he's dealt with it nicely again.
Very much up for grabs this frame, and O'Sullivan
Yeah, I mean,
has
there's nothing
obviously
Mark Williams
seems
hasn't seen.
somebody who
on the
seems
snooker
not to
table.
have any fear.
This is a
of the
man
shots he's
who
playing.
was 9 each on a respot at the Wembley Conference Centre in the Masters final with Stephen Hendry
16.
and won.
It's not bad either. Very enjoyable, isn't it, seeing somebody new? He's had a win against a
17.
top 16 player.
Again, just
He's only
how
just
quick
16.
the bed of the table is playing. He looked like he was going to drop
He can
perfectly
pot
on
the
the
ball,
3
goodness
reds beneath
me.
the pink spot, and it just kept on rolling, didn't it?
So now just a question of finishing the job off
Yeah,
in this
just trying
frame.
to
He was
establish
presented this
prime
chance.
position, then it's a
That
great chance
first
to
Felt like he
One
wasn't
back.
going to.
You do here. I think you play this and
waste the
give it good
opportunity
back.
when it came.
When
The frame is
conditions are
very
this
much
good,
on
and
to
the
do.
speed
This
of
goes
the
in.
table is as it is.
Can he reach it?
Just really sort of
Goodness me,
highlights your
right
cue
across
ball
the table.
control. You don't want that cue ball racing around the table because you can soon
Oh, yes,
come
he can.
unstuck.
So, into
30.
yellow. He's going to take a good shot here.
31.
He did well to get
What
his
a
money for
shot
that
that
Masters
is.
title, by the way, because
This is
there's another Mark
fantastic.
Williams on tour.
That is
and
as
the,
good.
the WPB's at
As
the
you'll
time.
see, if Judd
This is in the
Trump
days
had
of
played
checks
that,
in the
it would
post, and it went to the other one.
Talking about
It
it
was
for a
only
little while.
155 grand though, so you know.
9.
And that is
So
not
it's
so
ready
good.
for one
It's a
even.
Sure.
mixed bag here.
Didn't
38.
try and do a
What a
runner
shame.
with
A
it.
trio of outstanding shots at the back end
Yeah,
of
I'm
this
playing on the
frame.
brown here. I know the frame is over just
He
because
was
he
one.
clears that pocket for the red.
That's why
Positional
just
shot
decided
away
he
from
from
became Mark
winning
J.
it all.
Williams. I mean, his middle
Now
name
he's
is
Mr.
James,
Green.
but
So
the
the
J
ball
came
going
a couple of
into
fairly
being
open
on
frames,
the
let's say.
scoreboard and so on because
The
of that.
chances have come. Well, if it's not, he's
Very
very the
lucky.
player. It looks like it should be a free ball. In fact, it
dear.
has been called as one. What's he going to use here? Some kind of extended
Well,
spider?
that is a
or
shame, isn't it? Because
Can he reach it?
Well, this is
It
a
was,
glorious opportunity
Sullivan,
now
you
for Mark
feel he's
Williams,
just
isn't
been a
it? The
skill,
reds are
easing
spread
his way
nicely.
into
He's
the
got the
event.
black
The yellow
available into
to then
one
snooker
of the
it. So I
corner
guess for the
pockets for the
sake of
time being,
this
but
match,
the Reds
I think what happened
have
was
no real
they-
reason
instead
to
of
play any
the first
cannon.
two frames yellow,
He's gone a little bit far on his blue, so
the match
maybe
a little more interesting
play
travel
a little
at the
holding
table.
cannon if he chooses
That was
to.
his feel like Sullivan is
That can just drift past the Reds as well. He's got options
in
here.
favour of youngster with
Yeah, chose to play the holding
based
cannon.
on
It looked like it couldn't
not much
really go
nous,
wrong,
but
and it
everything
hasn't.
we know really.
Fantastic potting on.
Clearly
Important
judging
to
how
sort of
he's a-
play that shot
he's a
with too
talent.
much
This is
pace
the one
as
that
well.
got
Didn't
away.
wanna push
The
anything safe.
talent
Just
alone will
hold
be
the cue
enough.
ball in the middle of the
seems
table.
unlikely, but
48.
the match
Again,
scores
another
1-all.
Demonstration of
Well,
Mark's
part
control.
of the vertiginous learning curve at this stage
There's a
of
phone
the
going off in the arena,
16-year-old's
and it's
career.
gone off 3 times
On
now. I
his
think
second
it's an
moments
alarm.
brilliant Masters
Referees are
in
struggling
2017, which was
referees
then
struggling to
an
work
error
out where it's come
rectified
from.
had to be
Very,
trouble.
very
expensive. And Ronnie O'Sullivan
And
mops
then
up to the following year. It became an invitational event when he beat
To
retake the
Hawkins.
lead here
Alarm
in
bells
Shanghai.
literally ringing.
Of course, last year when it returned to the calendar after a 4-year absence, first
34.
6 to go through.
Thirty-five.
The last champion, Luca Brissell.
1
Prize for the winner, a meeting with
Yeah,
either
I
Ding
think,
Junhui
I
or
think what
Ali
he was saying there
Carter.
was, can someone turn that off,
They'll
please?
feature later. We'll bring you that match.
58.
Judd Trump is playing Mark Williams in that session. The winner of that one will play winner of the match on
60.
table 2 at the moment, Luca Brissell. And Sijai will be level at 1 frame all. Frame 3 still in the balance, although Luca's back in and looking in favour at the moment to
Mark
63.
doing his best
Move
here
back
to
in
not
front.
let it distract him, because
43.
this is a key visit to the table. He found himself in similar positions in his game yesterday, and his cue ball
67.
just let him down at times. He kept asking himself little questions with pots that were tougher than they should have been. So far, so good at this visit.
It's very much a mixed
71.
bag, isn't it,
2. Correction.
so far?
51.
Watching
78.
Zhou Jinhao, I mean, there's some really good signs that he knows how to play. An incredible potter of a ball. But the other side of it is if you give
Ronnie
this man
O'Sullivan
chances, he's
clears the
going to
table.
come unstuck, which
This is where concentration is key, because
completely inexperienced
there's a little bit
16-year-old.
of background noise.
If you trawl through the records, there
harder
isn't really
intervals,
anything
so
to go
there
on.
is movement across the other
And
side
then
of the
he's
arena.
very
There's
sorry
lots
to
of
say
people
frame
watching
3.
Ding over there.
Possible
Hang on,
11.
Mark's got a
Plus
job
6
to do
go
here. He's got
through.
to stay in the zone, stay focused.
The winner to play Ding
But
or
it's
Carter,
enjoyable to
who
watch,
in
whatever the
action
result.
later.
Well, he's only a couple of balls now from
6.
winning the frame.
Be interested to see if O'Sullivan can just tighten his game up here and
9.
sort of pick off chances from Joe.
Stayed with that one, didn't he?
It's
It
kind
was
of how you
just
see
gone in off
things
the
going potentially.
far jaw.
Well, of course, Ronnie O'Sullivan can win if it's an open match as well. But he
No, it's
might
been a
not
good visit. The blue
want to
early
play
on was
into the
big.
hands of
As
the
you say,
youngster
you know, you
by
fancy
going down
for
that
it,
route.
but under pressure, 4-1 down to
16.
Trump, possibly going 5-1
Safety
down. If he
shot
misses
was
it, you
short
have to
of
get
place
it.
annual
17.
directed. It would have hit the ping had it gone the required speed.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a big shot so early on in the break, but they were all there for him, but he still had to stand up and take them. And we'll reiterate, it's key that Mark keeps Judd away from getting to 5.
24.
Because surely if he gets to 5, he will have a chance at some point to see out the match.
25.
Mark Williams 74 in the frame.
2 snookers needed. Trump's not interested though, so Mark Williams, pretty quick
So
kill
early stages
in
of
that
this
frame.
break on reds and blacks. So get the reds open.
1.
Yeah, he's a little straight on the
48.
blue, so that option is not open to him. In fact, I don't see how he can get on the red here. Whichever colour he takes.
So 4-2. Mark Williams back in business after that 74 in the last. Still trailing though.
55.
3-1 to Ding against Ali Carter. They're just about
He's
to come
knocked
back
in
to the
2 plants
on
already.
table
I'm not
one.
sure
That'll
if
be
there's
on this
anything
field
else
for us
like
when
that.
they resume.
Bottom red might just
56.
creep in.
So Mark came
But
round to have a little
close
look
to
at the
it.
black.
It's very, very
Going
tight
for this
anyway.
red.
So it's quite
Well,
a
he's
weak
missed
shot
it,
that
and
he
the red's
played
gone into
to
the
end
pack
that
now.
little
What's the damage?
contribution. Well, he's almost at the point
No,
where
it
this
looks
frame is
okay.
in the bag. It was a poor safety shot.
For a minute there, that red going through the reds, it's
From
quite
Zhou
often
Jinhao.
you see a,
53.
The one thing
and
all this
also
about
pushed on.
is, because every snooker
not
player
left
does it,
anything
you have to
easy
make
for
sure
the
it's steady. It's a
defenders.
steep learning curve for a young player. He is playing all the chance there. The very best the game has to offer. But you could understand that someone like Zhao would be a very dangerous wild card opponent for anybody on what we're seeing.
69.
Extremely rare to see O'Sullivan go into the bunch of reds and not land nicely on one, but appears to be end of break.
I think as soon as he hit it, he must have heard him tap as if he knew it was.
So Mark just
gonna be
looks
The thing
stepping
about
the
Ronnie
bunch.
O'Sullivan
Screw
is
in
when
this
he gets
red,
the chance,
closest
he
to
does
the
his
side
damage so
cushion.
quickly.
into the
Just
pack
kind
and
of
then
an
gets
85
cue
under the table.
back to balk,
Try and
shows
get that
against
cue
it, so
away
just
from the
rolling
red
up
somehow.
78.
the red down
So
the
it was a
rail.
lucrative season for
Felt he couldn't
O'Sullivan
really gain
last
much
time.
on
This
that
one
and
be
of an
an
advantage from that
understatement.
position.
So fluent. Well, he may have got a
Sullivan,
heavy
78.
contact there. So it doesn't matter though. There's only
Yeah,
59
I mean,
left.
he won here, didn't he,
Frames
to start with,
conceded.
and then all of the high prestige events
And
leading up
Ronnie
to the World
O'Sullivan
Championships.
goes
He
to the
seemed
mid-session interval on the
nab
second day of the Shanghai
to
Masters.
have won the UK Championship and the Masters. That doesn't happen
So
very
we
often for a
return
player
to
leading to
table
the
one.
Worlds.
Ronnie O'Sullivan with a 3-1 lead. Maybe a little fortunate to be 3-1 up.
Brilliant shot. O'Sullivan also
fluid
won
breaks
the
from
World
him,
Grand Prix. But
Xu Jinhao
when it came to the crucible,
could
maybe there
easily have
wasn't
shared
much left
that
in the
quartet
tank.
of frames. First to 6 to go Start through, really of course. thinking
Well,
outside.
again, Judd Trump catching the
With all
blue
three
from a
so-called
safety shot, trying to
triple
swing the
crowns
cue
in
ball
the
around the
single
back of the
season.
black,
Well,
lots of
Xu Jinhao
side.
was the more aggressive player of the two.
Made contact
Even
and
fought
pretty
against
full
O'Sullivan
contact with the
at
blue,
times.
so
He
Mark now
had to tie him up
eyeing up this
because
red to right
he put in
corner.
some quite incredible long pots, because he may just be
Just wonder if after that
waking up
previous
if you're watching
visit,
from the UK and not seeing the start. But
just
That's
feels
good.
like he's growing back
the
into this game
16-year-old
again.
has done. He's quite impressive, isn't he? Except for when he
Phased
was
out
over
for
Zhang
quite a
An.
while in the early exchanges of this
Potted
match.
a few incredible out of play. And put a bit of fear into O'Sullivan there, of course. He couldn't finish the job and had such a good season. Could easily be 3-1 up last campaign. Ultimately, easily. And O'Sullivan, not
So he's
unexpectedly,
here
has
in
got this
Shanghai.
match. It's going to be a work in progress, but what I see so far, I like.
Well, he's missed the
his
pink with the
control
red
of
on
the
at
seams.
first glance. There's nothing straightforward for Judd.
There's a real talent, I think, in the making here.
The pink seems to have covered
Without any
the red
fear,
that Mark
it
was
is.
intending to lay on. Now, is there another plan? The red's just above the black. Pretty close. There is a single red as well, which may pass. Oh, it's the plant and he's got it. Oh, we might have to nickname Judd the gardener soon. He's taken on so many plants in this game. And he's got all of them so far.
19.
Yeah, that pink was rather unexpected. The miss. There was a loud groan in the audience, and Williams, you could see, pretty upset as well. He's just finding a way back into this match.
Well,
Zhou Jinhao.
that will
20.
disappoint him because he was going nicely
He
there.
should get on the black from potting this red.
Yeah,
To leave himself
it was,
pretty low on
I
it.
think he was hit it wide to get the cue ball up the table.
His next shot
I think it tells you how fast the table is. The replay on the screen, he never quite thought that was going to reach the pocket, but it's almost he trickled in. Quite have the angle to stun off the cushion, so you almost automatically hit a wider angle, thinking the pot will still go in. Ultimately, Mr. Black
Doesn't look to be a lot of room there, does there, for the black? So choosing against it.
6.
Well, it's safe to assume Ding and Ali have resumed next door. You can hear the applause. That's live on Discovery Plus. 3-1 to Ding.
The problem ball here for Judd is the red next to the black, isn't it? Because that black is out of commission for the time being. There are a few reds available for Judd, though. Well, he's had a right result there because he's had a little brush cannon on the cluster of reds and he's landed absolutely perfect on this problem ball, which I just referred to. He didn't play that. He's played to open the reds up, but he's landed absolutely A1 on this red now.
10.
At any level, a little bit of luck here and there makes a massive difference, but the ability that these guys have, it can be pretty colossal, can't it? This now, a good scoring chance for Judd Trump. He's got the black right where he wants it. In a couple of shots' time, this could be a frame-winning chance.
16. 17.
Again, just a little bit of thinking required here for Judd Trump. The reds are kind of just covering one another. There are a couple that he can play onto, but at some stage he will need to play a little cannon just to push a few more into play. Well, he played the cannon to the pink there and he's missed it, but he has got the red to left corner. He's going to have to play it with the rest, though.
24.
If he catches the pink there, he's on the red to right corner.
$25. 32.
Well, it's all very congested, isn't it, around the pink spot. Still plenty of work to be done for Judd. He needed to pot that, and he hasn't. So, just started to get a little bit tricky, didn't it? They was all covering one another, a few little cannons required. Very tight little space there for him to play in. And in missing the red to middle, he has opened a few more for Mark Williams. So what a chance for a counter-attack. Four-two with a chance to make it 4-3.
6.
And the game is well and truly on, isn't it? 5-2, and I think, you know, we all kind of expect Judd to just see out the match. It will take something special from Mark Williams to come back from that deficit. This is a huge visit to the table now for Mark Williams.
7. 14.
Well, that's gone wrong. Played the cannon, he's not on the red. Trying to recover with a double, which he's done brilliantly.
15.
Wow. What a shot that is from Mark Williams. Possibly a little bit of frustration in that shot as well, because the cannon to the pink he didn't expect, and it was really awkward. Covered the red that he was intending to play on, but just got down, as he does, so nonchalantly, and just knocks the double in.
23.
Oh, but then he misses that one.
Mark Williams. 23.
Wow. Well, he missed a pink early with the rest, but if anything, maybe just slightly took his eye off that one.
Well, look at how quickly he was up as well. He was pretty much walking, wasn't he? Goodness me, what a mistake that is from Mark Williams at such a big time in the match.
1.
God, Judd was out of his chair like a whippet there. He, as well as us, could not believe that mistake from Mark Williams. A routine pink to middle. I can only assume he's just taken his eye off it.
Six.
Yeah, Judd taking the chance there to go into the reds from the red. It looked like it was impossible to go wrong with the pink being where it was. So one good shot here, positional shot to land on his red, and we could be looking at 5-2.
Yeah, and the disappointment for Williams, if that happens, is that he recovered so well with that double when he looked like he'd lost his way. But then, very unexpected miss on the pink.
14.
Well, that's not the best shot from Judd. He had to be high on that on the pink, sorry, to just play a nice little stun shot over the side of the table for the reds into the right corner pocket. He now looks like he's going twice across here. Touch of side to try and straighten the cue ball up. He couldn't get close to these reds, so now this is missable.
Looking up at the scores, he's 28 in front. Another big shot in this big frame. Yeah, very good.
21.
Yeah, that's a very nice pot from Judd Trump. You could see him just sort of hold that position at the table there, just saw it in all the way, fully committed to that red. He knew that that was the ball that was probably going to see him over the line in this frame. And Judd doing what all the best players do.
24.
An uncharacteristic miss from Mark Williams, and he's pounced.
Yes, it feels like the biggest
25.
frame so far, because Williams did have his chance, but now he's going to have to win the last four to stop Judd Trump progressing to a quarter-final meeting with Si Jiawei.
$27. 29. 32. 36.
Well, the referee seems to be struggling with a bit of a cold, but Judd Trump looking fit and healthy as this
41.
new season begins. The pink is bullied off the table. It was the pink that played its part. Mark Williams missed it twice, once with the rest, but then more seriously to the middle. Well, we saw a big 7th frame there. It was won by Judd Trump, so he leads 5-2. Mark Williams will need to now win the last 4 to stay in the Shanghai Masters.
Yeah, it's now or never, isn't it, for Mark Williams in this year's Shanghai Masters. Last frame, the only frame of the match so far which failed to register a break over 50, but quite possibly the biggest frame of the match. A couple of missed pinks from Mark proved very costly. He has just been prone to that odd mistake, hasn't he, so far in this tournament. We saw in his opening match as well a few mistakes. Okay, he wasn't punished, but you aren't going to keep getting away with them, especially against the best players in the world, and he has made mistakes today. Well, I'm sure Judd Trump will be pretty content with how he's performed. Breaks of 72, 52, 67 and that 112.
What?
It's a pretty good performance so far, but he's got to see out this match. And he wants to try and do it as quickly as possible. Doesn't want to let Mark Williams at least try and get a glimmer of hope in this game, try and grow back into this match. Yeah, it's gone wrong. It looked natural that the cue ball was going to make contact with the yellow there. Couldn't dig down enough on the cue ball to avoid that, being so close to the side cushion.
Good grief. Well, you didn't know where to look there. There was a red heading towards the yellow pocket, but
7.
one went in the right corner. And, I mean, he got nowhere near the red initially. Then reds were just running, and one went in.
Wow. That is a Judd Trump special, isn't it? Deary me. You can't account for that. That was outrageous.
Nine.
It's quite annoying, isn't it, how good they are, but how much run they get as well.
10.
Well, the thing with flukes, they're not always significant, but sometimes, you know, that could be the start of the winning break in a match, which means obviously it would be significant. Mark Williams can't do anything about it. It's up to Judd Trump to make the most of the luck.
Yeah, and he'll sense that, won't he? He knows, okay, he's had a massive fluke there, but it's what he does from now that is going to count. You know, he's played well in this game so far. He's been good for a 5-2 lead. I just wonder how much of that performance yesterday from Mark Williams in his opening match has had an effect on his mindset coming into this game, because, as we say, he came through that game.
16.
It wasn't comfortable, but he got the job done. And I referred yesterday to sort of how the players may be feeling, and you know, if Mark could have probably blitzed that guy yesterday and came here full of confidence, it might have been a different outcome, but he sort of just scrambled over the line in the end. And, you know, I'll say again, they can turn it on pretty quickly, the best players in the world, but I just wonder how much that performance yesterday didn't really fill Mark with much confidence coming into this match.
Yeah, I saw Williams tweeting earlier about how he was, you know, had the jet lag and
22.
was up early and all the rest of it, but he certainly wouldn't be alone in that. That's part of travelling. He might be
23.
travelling home tomorrow. It was a very outrageous fluke. He nearly fluked 2, actually, which would have just been rubbing it in, but it was bad enough that 1 went in.
28.
I think if you're to analyse Mark Williams' whole tournament here in Shanghai, for me he's just lacked that little bit of intensity. Even when he's been at the table, he's been, I know he's
29.
always quite casual, isn't he? He's very laid back, but he's been overly so. And he's missed the odd ball and made the odd mistake, which have proved very costly. But yeah, we've seen a couple of outrageous flukes actually so far. There was a couple yesterday as well, but that one probably
35.
tops the lot because it is probably going to be a frame and match winner.
36.
I don't know, I think maybe Zhou Jinhao's black to beat Zhang Anda, because that was literally the last ball of the match. Attempted the double, didn't it? It flew in a corner.
It was Zhang Anda's reaction as well for me. He was absolutely
41.
spewing, wasn't he, when he saw that go in? The handshake was so stern.
42.
But it's all part and parcel of the game, isn't it? You get them going for you, you have them going against you. It's what you do with it. And so far, so good for Judd Trump. He's taken these nicely. He's just got to keep his composure here.
Yeah, and just as
48.
big a shot as the fluke red from him was the missed pink from Williams in the last frame, because that is what left them at
49.
5-2. Could easily have been 4-3, and then, you know, it's suddenly tense and close and anyone's match.
Yeah, and I think Mark, being the professional he is and the character he is, he's been around obviously for so long. He's seen everything there is to see in this game. He'll, you know, if you was to ask him about the fluke at the end of the game,
55.
he probably won't even refer to it. I can guarantee he'll mention the pink he missed in the previous frame, because that's just how they look at it. You know, he had the chance to close the gap
56.
to 4-3, failed to do so, and then sometimes the balls just dictate, don't they? The game can just crucify you at times. The fact Mark missed that opportunity, possibly Snooker's way of telling him, you know, you've had your chance, and then everything can run against you. It's just how the game goes.
61.
Well, this red should see Judd Trump home, so it was a big fluke, no doubt about it. And he's made the most of it.
62.
Had such a good season last year, 5 ranking titles, including 3 in a row. He'd love to win the Shanghai Masters, though. He's been in 3 finals when it was a ranking event, yet to get his hands on the trophy.
68.
But he's been impressive today. First match of the season, you're not quite sure what to expect. A little bit of rust
69.
maybe coming into a new campaign, but overall he scored well, he's looked good.
Yeah, he'll be very, very pleased with his performance, will Judd. You don't want to absolutely fly in your first match. He'll be looking to try and grow into this event, but he's put in a really solid
74.
shift here today. Scored very nicely when he's got in. He's looked well in control of himself and his emotions. It's just been a really
75.
workmanlike performance from Judd Trump. Very impressive.
Yeah, he had 72, 52, 67 first 3 frames, 112 in the 5th, and now this match-winning break in the last.
Fantastic, look at that. He's had a little
77.
cannon to the black as well, just to push the other red into play. Superb from Judd Trump. And this is where he really comes into his
78.
own, doesn't he? The frame and match well and truly won. We'll probably see him fizzing a few balls around. And why not? It's what this crowd wants to see.
Yes, luck helps, obviously, but with
84.
Trump, as with all great players, it's 99% skill.
85.
Yeah, and he'll make sure of the century first before he starts flying that cue ball around the table.
92.
Yellow, green and brown
94.
for his second century of this match.
$97.
Yeah, he's finished on a high. And he'll surely be very satisfied with his first match of the season. 2 centuries and victory over Mark Williams.
106.
Yeah, and here comes the exhibition snooker. Fantastic performance from Judd Trump. Very well played. He's brushed Mark Williams aside with ease today.
112.
Yeah, the missed pink in frame 7 was big, the fluke was big,
加张目112.
but it was a big performance in the end from Judd Trump. He finishes with his second century of the match.